mental health and compassion. And yes, I'm in a bathroom, and it seems kind of appropriate in a strange way. I just really like the green and the little birdies behind me, so I figured it'd be a good background. So, for some of us, it's really, really hard just to get here, just to show up to the conversation, just to get up in the morning, just to help our kids get dressed. Questions like, how are you, can be devastating to even try to answer, to even try to receive and let it go in and see what the answer really is. You know, at a given moment in time, I think it was about 20 years ago, yeah, I'm that old, I decided to give real answers when people asked me how I was. I just thought I just couldn't do the triviality and superficiality of it anymore. And so I decided, regardless of where I was, I would give the real answer. And sometimes, you know, the answer was, you know, I'm having a really hard time, or I'm having a really bad day, or I'm exhausted, or I'm having a hard time just showing up today or being me. And the truth is, you know, I want to talk about compassion towards people with mental health issues, because you really have no idea what the person's going through that's standing right in front of you, whether it be a teller at a bank, or someone pumping gas into your car, or a business associate. You don't know. You know, with people that are family or people that talk to you, you have answers to this. But people that you meet in the street, or strangers, or people you don't know very well, you have no idea what they're dealing with. And more importantly, you have no idea how hard it is for them to just show up to the conversation. Like, how much noise and like obstacles there is between where they started and being able to just talk to you. I think some people just have no idea, especially people who have never struggled with anything. You know, I had a lot of years with an anxiety disorder. And at one point, this was about 11 years ago, I guess, 10 or 11 years ago, I decided to take my kid to Disney World, the one in Florida, because I'd never been there before and I wanted to take him there. And I was struggling with anxiety in a really, really big way. And so, and it was crazy because when we got there, my kid all of a sudden broke out into chickenpox, which he must have gotten from his school. And we had a doctor come see us in the hotel, and he's like, yeah, your kid has chickenpox. So basically, we stayed there for a week in the hotel, and I brought him meals and calamine lotion and Aveeno lotion, and then eventually, once, you know, everything started healing up and there was scabs and, you know, he wasn't really contagious anymore, I paid double basically for the trip, and I stayed a whole other week so that we could still go to Disney World, because I thought, you know what, he's going to have so many bad experiences related to me in his childhood. I don't want this one to be one. And so I just, you know, I changed the scenario. But what I'm getting to is this. When we finally went to the park and the rides and everything, I had a panic attack every day. Every single day I had a panic attack and social anxiety. And I just did it. Like, I just did it. I just did it because I wanted him to have a great time. I worked through it each time, you know, in whatever kind of survival way I could do it. It wasn't like a self-sacrifice thing as much as just, you know, I wasn't going to let it limit me. But it didn't make it go away. Like, a lot of therapy, a lot of work, a lot of introspection, a lot of crying is what made it eventually start going away, right? But I'm pretty sure nobody around me, aside from maybe he knew I was stressed, but he was in the middle. These were during rides and these were during like shows and stuff like that, so he probably wasn't necessarily noticing it very much. But the people around me for sure had no idea, you know, because I could talk, I could interact, I could do all sorts of stuff, but nobody had any idea what was going on with me emotionally, mentally, what was going on in my psyche, you know, in my energy. It was intense, you know, and every single day without fail. You know, and it was brutal. And I remember I came home, and I was seeing a therapist at the time, and I said to her, I just don't want to be this way anymore. Like, I can't be this way anymore. And she kind of was really compassionate about it and saying that, you know, you can't just snap your fingers and this stuff goes away. And it was a lot of work. And there are certain mental illnesses that don't necessarily go away, or they stick around, or they stick around to a certain extent for people for their whole lives. And When people have some more severe ones, bipolar or schizophrenia, it's intense. It's intense. And you meet someone and you talk to them, or split personality disorder. I'm not sure if it's still called that anymore. But you talk to someone and you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know what they're going through, how hard it is. And it's not even just mental illness, but with mental illness, like usually sometimes you can see stuff. Someone might have a tic, or they may all of a sudden change the way they are, and you can tell there's an abrupt shift, right? But usually we don't know. And the point of this video, more than anything, is just to say, just be kinder if you can. And not just people that you don't know, we don't know how hard someone's day is. We don't know how hard it is for someone just to even show up in this conversation, and then we're judging them and we're saying, oh, this person's an ass and I don't like them and they have a bad attitude and they should be nicer to me. And there's a whole narrative going on in our head. But rarely do we think, oh my God, what kind of day is this person having? Is this person struggling? And I can tell you, with respect to mental health, people with mental health issues are struggling daily, usually, and sometimes all the time. Sometimes even when they're happy, it triggers other things. And it really, that compassion goes a long way, real compassion, just showing up with someone, talking to them, taking them 100% as they are, with not a lot of judgment, just saying, this is who this person is, and I'm taking them in, and maybe it's not simple. And maybe, you mark your own limits. You don't get mistreated. But at the same time, it's really valuable to have a little bit of flexibility, because we all have bad days. And when we're struggling with things, we have a lot more bad days than good days. And for some of us, it's brutal. I've also struggled with depression in my life. And it's very hard to explain to someone what it's like to be in a hole, to just feel like there's just its own despair. Empty despair, without any tether. And it's not because you have a bad attitude. It's not because you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's just there, and you just have to make it through, and you just have to breathe. And having anybody around who just kind of takes you for who you are and accepts you and just interacts with you and shows you a little bit of affection, kindness, it could bring you to tears. If you're having a really, really bad day and someone just does the slightest gesture that's kind of showing that you exist, and a little bit of compassion, and saying oh, you're another human being also going through your day, going through your life, going through your family, going through your finances, your career, your struggles, and I'm just going to give some space to you and be nice, or maybe do something for you. It's gold. It's gold. And really, if you could do that once a week, that's great. Just, it's a beautiful gesture, and you'll feel a lot better. And the people that you don't even know what's going on inside of them are going to feel a lot better also. So to wrap it up, in general, I think people should be more compassionate. But if you know that someone has a mental illness, without being kind of overt about it, just meet them where they are. Meet them where they are, and as much as you possibly can, be okay with who they are, where they are, because they're having a really rough time, and they're probably judging the hell out of themselves anyways, and struggling with that. And so just to have a little oasis in their day of someone who just is okay with them. So that's it. That's the video. Have a great day.